Gas prices are hitting records just as many Americans are returning to the office. They got to drive there, a lot of them. Millions of drivers are hoping to maneuver around price hikes that could take bites out of their paychecks. AAA's national average price for a gallon of regular gas is $4.32. The agency says people living in California are paying nearly $6 a gallon. So I guess feel better if you're not living there. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now to talk about all this. Scott, we talk about the average American, but no American is paying the average gas price. It's probably a little bit above, a little bit below. There's a wide spectrum here, but everyone's hurting to some extent. No one's doing better than they were a year ago on gas. So what's the government doing to stabilize or maybe even lower the prices?
We can tell you for sure, Tony, members of Congress tell me they're getting inundated with phone calls about this from their constituents about gas prices. There have been proposals to temporarily waive or ease the federal gas tax, but not a lot of momentum behind that. It would have, I think, to put it charitably, a microscopic impact on the overall cost of fuel because it's a global cost that goes into the cost of fuel. There are some states, Maryland for one, considering or enacting a postponement or a temporary hold on state gas taxes. But when you talk about the Congress and the federal government, that's the type of mechanism that would take years to change. Legislation or big proposals through Congress don't happen overnight. They don't change the price at the pump for Thursday or Friday. They have broader, more longitudinal impact. If they're talking about new pipelines, new domestic production, new legislation incentivizing electric vehicles, electric buses from public transportation to schools, that's a slower process, Tony. There's no lever Congress is leaving ignored to change gas prices tomorrow or next weekend.
The only surefire way, 100% guaranteed method to lower your household's gas costs is not to drive less, right? But a lot of people have to unless, and this is the big unless, they get some help from their employer. Maybe they go to a hybrid model. They don't have to go back to the office. Are you seeing any talk from companies saying, you know what, we'll slow roll the return to work until these prices come down?
Yes, and because they have to. The infrastructure's in place already, Tony. The protocols are in place from COVID for people to work from home. And at this unique moment in American history, the workers have leverage. There's such a red-hot job market that they are in a competitive position to negotiate that with their employers, and employers have to respond. Even in Detroit, where cars are king, the Chamber of Commerce there tells CBS News that they're talking to their members, talking to employers about having some flexibility. Let's take a listen.
Frankly, pay. When employees got the benefit of not having to drive to work and not having to pay for dry cleaning, they just kind of pocketed that money. Now they think it's permanently theirs. Employers have to deal with that. So now if we're asking them to drive to work at $4.50 a gallon, we're going to have to do something financially for them.
The president of the Detroit Chamber of Commerce, and one other note, Tony, spoke with the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, and they told me their internal survey done last week shows 40% of workers, 40% expect to be able to work virtually at least one day a week after the pandemic, gas prices being one of the factors.
Not driving will save you money. Scott MacFarlane, thank you very much.